What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. So XO18 is this weekend. It's actually tomorrow. Starts at 4 p.m. Eastern time. This is the big show from Microsoft. Well, they quote-unquote big show. We'll see how all this goes down. But it's their big show, apparently, that's going to show off games. We kind of went over a bit of a rundown yesterday, and maybe some studio acquisitions is what we're expecting. Not really sure what. We've heard Obsidian, but there could be some others as well. And I'm actually going to be streaming it here on the channel. Should be going live a bit before 4 p.m. Eastern, and we'll hopefully watch it, see some cool announcements, and I'm hoping Microsoft can pull off a really cool event with Inside Xbox. Inside Xbox doesn't really have any big memorable things that have happened, so I'm hoping Microsoft can make a memorable moment here at XO18. Come on, Banjo. We'll see. And as always, guys, if you enjoy these videos, make sure to like button. It does help out. We're going to start right away with some quick news, starting with Unreal Engine. It did get an update. It's now at version 4.21. And going down the list of optimizations and features they added, it's a lot of business as usual. However, they do have done things like optimize, updated SDKs, and they do mention that Niagara is now available for the Switch, which is a kind of a setup that they have for artists or people who design particle effects and visual effects in general in games to not have to use a programmer when they're designing them. It's kind of like how Unreal technically brought like a visual component with their blueprint setup so that you don't necessarily have to do tons of coding to make a game. It's kind of on that idea, but with particle effects. That's now available for the Switch as well for programming and designing. So it's just them bringing the Switch continuously up to snuff, as you'd say. Now that, of course, Fortnite has been apparently downloaded by more than half of the Switch users. So a lot of people are playing Fortnite, and Epic has a reason, of course, to continue to update Unreal Engine 4 for the Switch, because they have a pretty good customer base on there. Activision Blizzard also put out their third quarter results for financials, and it's actually down from last year at this time, actually down by quite a bit. Now you're seeing the chart here. They actually turned in a net revenue of 1.5 billion, but this time last year they're at 1.6 billion. That does beat what their outlook was, technically, what they were going for, which, as you see there, the prior outlook of 1.49 billion dollars. However, one thing that they did point out overall, and you could see this according to Kotaku, was on their call with investors, it had to do with Destiny and the Forsaken and everything, all their DLC just not doing as well as they would have liked it to. And they specifically point out microtransactions and how they're going to work to monetize the game differently going forward with more content updates, things like that. So they do point out the microtransactions. And of course, they have been working like crazy with Bungie to make sure that game is doing better for the fan base. Remember, the fans were not happy when they found out they were throttling experience, doing all kinds of stuff that seemed to kind of push you towards spending more time in the game and more time towards grinding, and I guess even having to put some microtransaction, buy a few of those to get your Ingrams and stuff. While that was cosmetic shaders, things like that, it seems like they are looking at, I guess, putting more into it. Maybe they're going to work to, I guess, experience boosters that worked for Assassin's Creed, I guess. It's hard to say what they're going to do, but one thing's for sure, Activision Blizzard has Destiny 2 in their crosshairs, and they're going to figure out how to get more money out of you. And we know Travis Strikes Again is coming in January, and now we know it is retailing for $40. There is a physical copy, as GameStop has listed it, and the physical copy appears to come with a season pass. It just comes with it for all of the future DLC. It's pretty cool. They even have the box art shot, as you're seeing here. And it looks like all the DLC is just going to be included. Basically, when you buy it, you'll get the season pass to punch in, like pretty much every other game on the market at this point, just about. And you can then download content updates going forward. That's kind of neat, actually, because we know now it's not a full $60 game, which makes me feel a bit better about it after seeing how it plays and everything. I kind of felt like it wasn't a game that would probably release for $60. Good to see it's $40, and good to see all of the downloadable content that we heard about a few months ago is basically going to be included when you buy it new. So, hey, looks good there. I'm iffy on this game. I'm going to get it, play it, and see how it is and everything, of course, and I'm sure I'll talk about it in video. But this doesn't look like the No More Heroes game that a lot of people wanted. However, this could be a stepping stone to that next big No More Heroes game that everyone really, really wants, and it seems like Suda51 is at least interested in doing it as they keep talking about it, so let's at least get Travis Strikes Again out there, see how it is, and then we'll kind of go from there. And guys, with the quick news out of the way, let's jump into some of the bigger stuff, starting with YouTube. YouTube is now on the Nintendo Switch, which is good news. Now remember, we heard about this after Nintendo accidentally leaked it on their website, and we knew, of course, November 8th. We'll keep an eye out for it. It didn't initially launch in the morning, and people were getting a little concerned about that. And then in the afternoon, I think it was around 2 or 3 o'clock my time, Eastern time, it does drop. And there it is. YouTube is now on the Nintendo Switch. You can go download it. Everyone did. And it works well. It actually works very well. I'm surprised. It zips around really quick. I don't know if they just made it very lightweight. It doesn't have like a lot of, I mean, the YouTube apps on TVs and stuff anyway don't usually have a lot of bells and whistles. It's pretty straightforward. This one does have a high contrast mode, which really when I turn it on just looks more like, I guess, night mode. YouTube is there. It works well. It goes up to 1080p. I haven't noticed an option for 60 frames per second, but it's nice to have that feature there. We've talked about it before. While you may not use it, other people probably will, as a lot of people are still using it on their Wii U. And, I mean, let's face it, all these multimedia apps should be on there. I mean, I'm hoping the next thing is Netflix, and then, you know, we go to like Twitch and so on. Just put everything on there. We understand it's a gaming device now, and again, not everyone's going to use every single application, but people are going to use it. People are using YouTube right now. There might be some of you who are watching this video on your Switch, on YouTube right now. Actually, let me know in the comments if you are. I'm curious. But it's exciting to see this happen because this could be a snowball effect to see some of these other multimedia applications. Who knows? They could do all kinds of stuff and put it on there. The interesting thing, though, is there is a bit of a side effect here. See, before, to access YouTube, it was still possible. It was just, there are more steps you had to go through. You had to go try to basically break into the built-in web browser through like your Facebook page and everything. You had to do all kinds of stuff to get there, but you could eventually get to YouTube. It was just a hassle to make it happen. And that's how people were faking things like gameplay and images and stuff on their Switch. Oh, look, I'm playing Golden Sun or whatnot. It's coming to E3. Still waiting for that one. But yes, it's going to be a lot easier to do that now, obviously, as you could just fire up a YouTube video and there's the leak for Red Dead Redemption 2, right? Yeah, saw that on Twitter pretty quick, but it's funny that people are doing that in a comical way, but you know people are going to use this to their advantage to do these leaks. What I'm going to tell you now, though, is I just don't believe them. Like you're gonna see these leaks come out at around E3 time, especially. It's just so easy to do it now. So it's like, don't even believe it when they take pictures of their Switch in handheld mode with I don't know, the new Battlefield or something on it. We'll just wait for it to come out because that's no longer proof to me because it's so easy to do at this point, right? Like, look, here's Mother 3 on the Switch. I got an early copy. It's coming out later this year in December. Yeah. Oh, man, that probably hurt a lot of people. I probably shouldn't have done that, actually. Next up, let's talk about Black Friday deals, as Walmart did release theirs, and I have to say, it looks pretty good. You should be able to fill out a good chunk of your backlog with less money than you think, actually. Here are quite a few of the promos here that they put out, and they have a long list of games. For example, they have them broken up into $35 games, $25 games, and strangely, $17 games. I don't really know where that comes from, but they have it there. $35 games include Tropical Freeze, Kirby Star Allies, ARMS, Pokken Tournament, Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, which came out fairly recently, so that's interesting to see that. Xenoblade Chronicles 2, which is actually a good one to pick up if you're kind of iffy on it. And then Starlink Battle for Atlas is also in there, that just came out as well recently. It's good to see. $25 games, though, was really cool because Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy in there, which is a good one. Carnival Games probably pass on that. Mario Rabbids Kingdom Battle, if you have not picked that up, that is a steal at $25. Very good game. Dragon Ball FighterZ is in there. Move down to the $17 games. We get kind of into some of the 3DS stuff as well, like Super Mario 3D Land, which some of these were part of like the Nintendo, the selects that they had. So they're not that much really in terms of a discount. But things like Animal Crossing New Leaf, that's cool to see. I love the Link Between Worlds. That will really help to fill out kind of your, I guess your 3DS collection. There's also South Park in there as well. But we're moving towards Black Friday. Tons of deals. I'm going to be doing some shopping on Black Friday just to fill out some of the backlog, especially if I go to like my local Walmart. They just have them set up. You walk through, they have stickers that kind of point to, I guess, what each price is. You just kind of pick them up and then you just take them up to the register and you pay. I think one year I got like I think I got like 8 or 9 games, and it was like $100, so it's not bad, but you do end up with a lot of games. It's like Steam sale, but in real life, because Walmart does have some that are under $10 even. I think you got Skate 3 on the Xbox One, which is a 360 game that's backwards compatible. I got that for like $8. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll get Skate 3 physically for my Xbox and play it again. Why not? So we'll see what happens here at Black Friday, but I'm expecting myself to get some from my backlog, and let me know if you guys are picking up any from this list here. Next up, let's talk about the PlayStation Classic, because people got to play it. Oh yes, there was a press event, and several publications went out there, took video even, did full write-ups, and it sounds like it's underwhelming. It sounds like it's kind of disappointing because it feels like they rushed this thing. Now, we talked about that when they showed the initial list. The 5 games that they showed initially, I was like, okay, that's not bad. They showed all of the games, especially for the US market, and I felt that they rushed it. I felt they really wanted it out. It's coming out at the beginning of December, right? That's like the cutoff. They just snuck it in there. And then we hear about some of the stuff that they're talking about at this press event, and it feels like they just wanted to push this out the door just in time for the holidays. For example, we had places like Kotaku, Eurogamer, Polygon, all these places went out there, and they all came to the same conclusion that there's not a lot to this. So let me give you an example. If you get the NES or Super Nintendo Classic, you have there are rewind features that you can do, right? There are borders. The UI itself is very pleasant to look at, and there are several options for filters and things like that. Not a lot of that here. There's no scan line filters, really no filter at all. There's no border selection, none of that. In fact, when I saw the initial UI, I was a little surprised because it looks kind of bad. Again, it looks like something you would see on like a retro Pi that somebody designed and put up. And even going further than that, Eurogamer talked about performance, and they also weren't impressed on that either. See, games that run like 30 frames per second apparently are fine, but then you get like up to the 60 frames per second games, especially like fighting games like Tekken 3, for example, and it feels laggy. There's slowdown, and it just can't seem to keep up with it. Now, even going further than that, to get into some of the emulation stuff, Kotaku even pointed out that some of the licensing parts that are in there, like if you go in the credits, they point out PCSX, which is an open source emulator, and they have apparently one that they're using for an ARM chipset. So I was hoping when this came out, it would have a proprietary emulator that Sony had created and wanted to put out there. It doesn't even feel like they went that far. Here's what I'm concerned about. I think this is going to come out, and I think it's going to be similar to what we see with something like Sega and AtGames, where it's not going to be that bad, but it's not going to be up to the quality that we're used to with something like a Sony product. I almost wonder if they actually farm some of this out just to another company. I can't tell you yes or no, because from what I've heard from these press events, it doesn't sound like Sony quality. It doesn't. And that could be from them pushing it out quickly. That could be from them outsourcing some of it, especially like the overall design and programming of the system itself. Because apparently the controllers feel great, the system looks good. I like that the open button on it actually changes the disc, because remember I even talked about that. How are we going to change the disc for things like Final Fantasy VII or Metal Gear? Well, you press the button. So it comes up, I guess it says change disc, you press the little open button, and boom, it changes. Apparently the power course is on and off, and then the reset takes you back to the home menu. So they're all functional, which is neat. Aesthetically, it looks good because it looks like the original PlayStation. And then, of course, the controllers have no rumble or analog sticks or anything, so that's a letdown. I'm disappointed. I will be honest. I'm disappointed. I still need to get it myself. I need to open it up because there's also a lot of theories going around that they are using essentially stripped down PlayStation TVs or Vita parts, essentially. And when I open it up, we take a look at it, we'll identify the chipset, and we'll see if that is the case. But I'm getting one. I'll probably be disappointed by it. It'll probably just go up on the shelf because it'll be a cool thing to have as a collector's piece. I will say I don't play my NES Classic much, but my Super Nintendo Classic, I actually will break out from time to time. This is something I'm going to get, and we'll see how it goes. We'll do a full review, and we'll open it up and have some fun with it. But so far, the previews, it's not good. And our last bit of news, let's talk a bit about the world of emulation. We do talk about this from time to time. If there's like a big breakthrough or just something really cool happening, whether it's a game being played with like crazy hacks on it or big 8K resolution, or just a game that's fairly new that's being played well on the PC. Now, a game has been emulated, and this is being done through a 360 emulator. That's right, the Xbox 360 from last generation is being emulated on PC. And what's really cool is they seem to have Halo 3 almost 100% playable. Like, it's this close to being playable without graphical glitches or slowdown or anything. And you're actually seeing a video here from BSOD Gaming, which I assume is Blue Screen of Death Gaming. And yes, this is Halo 3 running on what is actually, I will say, a fairly powerful rig there. The rig that they describe in their description is an i7-8700K, 16 gigabytes DDR4 memory, and a GTX 980 Ti running everything off of an NVMe 256 gigabyte drive. So it's not running on like a mid-range or even a low-end PC. It's running on a fairly high-end PC. But to see this kind of work being done fairly quickly, the emulator is called Xenia, Xenia. So if I mispronounce that, let me know. Xenia. But it's pretty neat to see this. Halo 3 is something that PC fans have wanted for a long time now. We feel like the Master Chief Collection will come to PC soonish through their Game Pass stuff or just a release, because PC gamers want it. I know Microsoft is holding on to that last rope, and it's Halo. That's like what's left on the Xbox, but we'll see. It's cool though. It's cool to see this being done, because there are people who probably would like to play it on their PC because they have no other option, and here it is being emulated. Let's see if the online can get working and some other stuff. Maybe they get to a point where they push it up to how the Xbox One X plays it at like super high resolution and everything. It's pretty cool. And ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here for Newswave. If you enjoyed this video, guys, make sure you do hit the like button. It does help out. If not, hit the dislike. Leave comments down below about everything we talked about today, whether it's the Black Friday deals. Let me know if there's anything you're picking up later on this month on Black Friday, or maybe you want to talk a bit about YouTube on the Switch. Are you already trying to do some fake leaks and stuff, or are you just enjoying YouTube in general on there, because it is a pretty fast and snappy application. I'm actually pretty impressed with it. And then what about the PlayStation Classic? Did you read the previews and are you disappointed? Maybe you canceled your pre-order, or maybe you still have it and you're just like, I'm gonna get it because I want to collect it. Let me know, guys, down below. Have a great weekend. Make sure you guys come on by tomorrow. XO18 will be in full effect, and I'm hoping Microsoft has something cool for us. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you Monday morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Time.